Let's talk a little bit more about you. So what do you do at Appfire versus why are you always on the road?
It's just such a great group of people that truly help each other. It's crazy. I don't see that anywhere else, but how much that the Atlassian community kicks in to help each other.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Summer of Atlassian. I have Ed Gaile, Atlanta Pitmaster and friend and co-author, and holy moly, the list is so long, Ed. My associations with you. Welcome.
It's crazy, Alex, that I only met you in person for the first time at Team 24, even though we've been hanging out, virtually and online and in the community for, well over a year now.
Yeah, it's been a while. And yeah, our paths just they just crossed by pure serendipity. I don't think it was planned or anything. So
Well, you got you got involved with this crazy guy Rodney Nissen, and so he's out of Atlanta too. So kind of by default, I think I got entrapped into the sphere of influence of the Jira guy, and that got me crossing paths with Dr. Jira. So I don't know. This year's been awesome though, from a community perspective, because I feel I've been way more engaged this year, especially with obviously we're writing a book, but with you guys with the Jira Life, coming in and kind of heckling whoever's coming on the show from that perspective, and just being more interactive with the community.
it took us a while to get you on the show.
You know what? I gotta fix my notifications, because I used to get a notification and I don't know what I did. I broke it. So I could get on the Jira Life. I should have worn it, my Jira Life t-shirt to represent.
I know, I was thinking of wearing my Ed Gaile barbecue shirt, but
you still need to do that with Bob, and when we get on the call with Rodney.
Yeah. Does Rodney have his? I have mine.
He doesn't have his yet, so.
Oh, we might want to fix that. I was just talking with Fed, and we were talking about, because Anaheim Team 25 Team 25 will be in Anaheim, right? And a couple of people have now said, like, hey Alex, we should just go hang out at your house, have a barbecue, jump in the pool. I'm like, well, first it's gonna be way too cold to jump into the pool in April. It might even be raining the whole week. But barbecue, yeah. And but that got me thinking, like, dang, if Ed gets wind of this and he comes over, he's gonna be drastically disappointed when he sees the burgers and hot dogs on the grill.
We're still working on you, Alex. I mean, we're trying to get you to expand the barbecue horizon a little bit, but I do like that idea that, we could come and tailgate, at your place before Team 25.
I'm telling everybody, you guys all got to plan at least, you got to come either Friday night the week before or leave until Sunday night.
Yeah.
But you can't just come for the 2 days that the conference lasts.
No.
It's got to be a whole thing.
So how far away is your new place from?
So my new place is exactly 27 miles from the convention center. Oh. But my parents' house is exactly 3 miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we're definitely tailgating at your place then.
Yeah. So we'll be at my mom's house.
That's you know what? We can do some carne asada. We can,
No, definitely. Yeah, no, we will be doing a carne asada. That was definitely on the books there. So it'll be fun. We'll have a whole full Mexican thing. I was also telling Fede that it's gonna be interesting, right? Because the food in Las Vegas is so upscale, right? So I don't know, fancy, but in Anaheim, there's still a lot of upscale due to the Disneyland Resort, but there's a lot. It's a Hispanic town, and you'll feel it, right? And so you'll see a lot more Hispanic food, Hispanic culture, Hispanic shootings, drive-bys, and we'll have fun. My wife and I plan on putting a whole guide on where not to walk at night to stay alive during Team 24.
Perfect. Yeah. So next year when we have the prep for Team 25, we'll have the Ortiz where not to go and /.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because Disney pays so much money to keep Anaheim out of the news, and you don't hear about the crimes. But my mom used to work across the street from Disneyland, and daily they were on a lockdown because some body was found in a dumpster, or somebody was shooting or robbing or doing something bad. But you don't it. Just the main media never picks up on it, because Disney makes sure that when you hear of Anaheim, you just think of angels and ducks and Mickey Mouse.
Yep. keep it squeaky clean there. So that's cool. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for a little bit of a change from Vegas.
It'll be,
I would go
for
back to
me,
Vegas
it won't
again,
be a
but
change because Vegas is a change for me. But now I'll just go outside and walk down the street. It'll be
so
fun.
did you kind of see the announcements about Team 24 Europe?
I heard some stuff that they were doing some additional events now in Europe.
Like October 8th, I think, is the
No,
tentative
I
date.
didn't see anything official, but I did hear that they were doing something with work or something like that.
Yeah, I think on the community leader Slack, they were saying Team 24, save the date, Europe, October 8th.
Yeah, I'm still not on that channel.
And you don't have a passport.
And I don't have a password, but that part can be solved. But yeah, I was talking to Bob about this just yesterday or Wednesday. No, when was I talking about? Yesterday, Monday, during our team call, and I was like, because one of the things that I want to do is like I want to do the rest of the ACP certifications. As you saw, I did that live stream, right? But the champions or community leaders get them, so I'm like, I'm still waiting for that one. I'm still waiting so I can spool up my own Atlassian instances. I'm still waiting to be on that other Slack channel because all the cool things happen over there. And they're like, you're not allowed to complain now that you have that on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, well, I'm still waiting for the things to fall through. They kind of just told us, but then nothing happened.
That's what cracks me up about you, Alex. I don't want to take the certification. It's too hard. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I don't test well.
Okay. And then what did you get? Like a 93?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
I was mad. I was so mad. I should have gotten 100 at that point.
That's awesome.
Oh, you're funny. So let's talk a little bit more about you. So what do you do at Appfire versus why are you always on the road?
Yeah, my wife would like to know that too, but no. So at Appfire, I guess so. If we look at my extended career, I've always been in technology, and back in I think 2010 is when I first started using the Atlassian stack at a project in Blue Shield of California in San Francisco. So that's kind of where I started my entryway into, first of all, being a user of the Atlassian tool set, which I really liked because there wasn't anything like that that I thought was comparable on the market. And so got to be a power user, and then eventually an admin at my last company. I was an admin for data center for probably 9 years. So I got all my data center certifications. Now I got to get my cloud one. So I'm fighting it like you are, getting those.
There you go. See, I'm not the only one.
I'm dragging my feet on those as well. So, I was on the user side being an admin, and back in the day, if you wanted a piece of functionality that didn't come natively within Jira or JSM or Confluence, you did the old DIY technique where you're like, all right, Google, I need to be able to send notifications on a SLA if it's about to be breached. Jira, Atlassian, search kind of thing. And so then that would bring up the Atlassian marketplace listings that would have some kind of app that was relevant to your search. And then that's when you start playing around, do the trial license, test it out. So all that being said is that as an admin, I did a lot of that and got used to a lot of apps from Appfire, specifically like the Bob Swift ones, JMWE, JSU. From a user perspective, I was using a lot of them. And so I would go to Team, or they were called Summit back in the day. And I would always go to like the Appfire booth and, just talk to them about issues we were having or feature requests that we would want to have in a specific application kind of things. Like, hey, I think I asked you this last year and you said it was going to be here. It's not here.
Here we are 12 months later.
So I got really familiar with all the apps and the people behind the apps. And so when it came, I got to a point at previous company where I just needed a change. I needed a little bit more challenge. I wanted to stay within the Atlassian ecosphere because, I mean, as you know, there's some awesome people here. There's awesome companies.
You know, you probably know them better than I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a great group of people that truly help each other. It's crazy. I don't see that anywhere else, but how much that the Atlassian community kicks in to help each other. So I wanted to stay within that, and I was like, well, shit, I think I know half of the Appfire people just from using their apps. You know, let me see if they got anything they want to do. And sure enough, that's right when Appfire had gone through just a screaming acquisition spree of 22 companies.
Wow, I knew they were big, but I didn't know they were that big.
Yeah, so we had 22 acquisitions, I believe, between 2021, 2022, around that time frame.
And that would have been them before Jexo, right? Because Jexo wasn't until 2023.
Yeah, so I was there when they got acquired. So I was I think August or September of 2023.
That was right around Teams because they had just announced.
Yeah.
Like early April, late March that they had been acquired by Appfire.
Yeah.
Of 23.
23. So I was there. I'm sorry. So I got there in September of 2022.
Okay. So he had just joined them.
So just joined them and everything. So, yeah. So with all those apps, you got a lot of apps. You got a lot of duplicate functionality. You got a lot of overlap. You got a lot of things that you got to figure out. And
how to make a company out of.
Right, exactly. So now we need to assimilate everything and make sure that everything is not being, duplicitous and is still adding value to our partners because, Appfire does not have a sales department. Our sales department is our partners. So
I was gonna say your sales department is your logo.
yeah, exactly. So all of our partners that do services for Atlassian, they obviously end up recommending and selling specific apps for their customers who have specific use cases, which may be, ITSM transformation or agile implementation or consolidation or migration. So again, we have all these 200 plus apps. And so what I was challenged with when I came in, just given my background of having experience with all these apps in different use cases, was to help create these solutions. So basically those are like a bundle of our apps that are put together that address a specific use case, such as ITSM. So we have 10 apps that are really specific to ITSM, and they cover gaps within native functionality or extend functionality within JSM and Jira as well. So for example, in our ITSM solution, we have our timed SLA app. Granted, there's a native JSM SLA functionality, but our app works at the Jira software / work management / now just known as Jira level, as well as JSM.
JSM versus natively it's just a JSM thing.
It's just JSM. Plus, you can use it on a cloud standard deployment. You don't get JSM unless you're premium or enterprise in the cloud. So again, we fit specific use cases and expand the functionality in that.
Yeah, you fill the gap.
Yeah, we fill the gap as far as that goes, including notifications when something is about to be breached, different configuration components. So basically, I came in and I'm structuring our apps to these specific use cases, which line up to Atlassian specializations. So right now, Atlassian has specializations in ITSM, Agile at Scale, and Cloud, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe, yes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So then how does that then coincide with all the traveling you do for the ACE events?
So that's a great story. So like I said, Appfire does not have sales department. Our partners are our sales department. So when we go and we have like our QBRs, our quarterly business reviews with our partners to say, hey, you guys you're trending online. You guys are doing great. You're selling more of these apps. So now we go to them with these solutions and we present them with the solutions to kind of make it easier for them to be able to say, hey, I have this use case. oh, hey, Appfire has this solution, which is these bundles. I don't expect the partner to go sell every one of those apps in a bundle to a customer, but at least they have the reference architecture of, I know you got some apps in here for this solution, and we can figure out which one we need, kind of thing. So when we go to QBRs, we also make sure that we get in front of them as far as like, here's our solution for ITSM or Agile or workflow and automation or knowledge management. Here's the apps in them. So we do a lot of enablement, debriefing with them. But selfishly, I was like, obviously, if I can go to other ACE events and check out some barbecue on the local scene while I'm there, and while we're doing it, and we're doing it while we're visiting a partner, that's totally justifiable, right? Yes.
Yes, and you got enough yeses.
So it's like, but the cool thing with Appfire is that, you know, we have a couple community leaders within Appfire, you know, like Nikki from Jexo, Andrew Zerman, who was in Wisconsin, I think. So we have a few, but I really wanted to go meet other leaders more than just once a year at team. I was like, if I can find an excuse to go see other leaders and hang out and just kind of see what they're doing, and do something different, like bring in local barbecue that I like to try. Plus, you know, it's something that not a lot of people do at their in-person events. So I very selfishly was able to finagle ACE events with partner visits, with solution talk to kind of.
So you got the dream job. You've crafted your own dream job at that point.
I literally crafted it and then demonstrated so much benefit to Appfire. They're like, yeah, go do it.
We're on tour. You just need the Edgeo bus.
I know. We need like a full tour kit and everything. So
how much of your traveling do you partner up with Atlassian? Because earlier this year in February, right, I partnered up with Mark Kruth and we did a tacos and Atlassian talks, right? So we went up and down really just up, down. Well, I guess up and down the West Coast.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe I missed that though. I should have come out to one of those.
But it was so beneficial to have Mark alongside with me.
Yeah.
Right. And
I don't know if there's anyone better at just engaging conversation with people than Mark.
Should we just turn this into the Mark show?
I mean, he's just so good at it. I mean, have you ever
had
I made baby steps in improving my own presentation skills, and then I see him again. I'm like, dude, I'm awful.
Have you presented with him, like either before or after him?
No. So I've kind of been side by side with some ACE events, but not like an official presentation. That'd be a tough act to follow.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going, right? It's like I like talking, right? As you can see, I got the Jira life, I got this. I like being in front of people. I'm very comfortable speaking. And I don't typically lose a room because like I'm not the most boring of speakers, so I typically say enough dumb things to get at least a chuckle out of somebody, right? And I was in San Diego with him, and he's talked for like an hour and a half, and it was my turn to talk, and I have never seen more bored people in my life. And I'm like, this is impossible. You should never, ever, ever go after Mark Kruth, is what I learned.
No, I totally agree. But I've actually started implementing some of his techniques. So, and then I think we saw a little bit of this in Team 24 when Sven was presenting at the community workshop day. So I started using that the quiz show. Like, what was it? Was it Mighty Meter or something like that?
Yeah, the Mentimeter or whatever that everybody's using. Yeah, we started using it on the Jira Life too.
Yeah, Mentimeter. Yeah, Mentimeter. So I did a ACE event up in, or I did a presentation up in Chicago for an enterprise day. And so I did a lot of Chicago-based trivia, and, see how people in Chicago know Chicago. So, and that was kind of fun because it was really engaging.
They won a World Series.
And so he was right.
I hear that's a sensitive Chicago topic.
Yeah, it's very sensitive. So, Cubs.
Sorry for any Chicago people watching.
Cubs, White Sox, it's like. But
our
it worked though. I got the people engaged, and they kind of got their brains going. And so then I went right into the presentation, and it worked out. So I'm totally, just looking at what he does and replicating some of it.
yeah, he's definitely it's so easy to him, right? It looks and feels so natural when he's
Yeah.
up there talking and doing his thing. And like even I'll heckle him a little bit just to kind of see how he reacts. And he's just so good at just like not losing his train of thought,
He never misses a beat.
reacting, shooting you down, getting back on topic. And
That's
he's so
awesome.
supportive too. He's so supportive because like he'll see me like again, we were on that road show for 3 days, and like he'd see me like struggle a little bit, right? Because when we're in San Francisco, like I were in front of a bigger audience, and Vish was like, "Hey, are you ready?" And I'm like, "Ready for what?" And he's like, "You're the MC." I'm like, "What's an MC?" and he's like, "Didn't you get the email?" I'm like, "What email?" He's like, "I sent you all the questions and like all the prep." And like, "When did you send that?" And he's like, he's looking through his email. Guess when he sent it to me? February 15th, 2024.
Oh, way ahead of time.
What
Yeah.
was I doing? But what was I doing on February 15th, 2024? You remember?
February 15th.
Yeah.
Were you traveling?
No, I mean, there was some traveling, but there was something that was happening for 24 straight hours.
Oh, the live stream.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I was dead that day. That was not the
Oh,
day to be sending me email.
I
This
can't
critical.
believe you guys. First of all,
So
they talked to you and
I never saw that email, right? Until I was there and he's like, "All right, you're on stage in 15 minutes." And I'm like, "What?"
that is hilarious. First of all, I can't believe Rodney and Bob got you convinced to do the live stream, but that was awesome.
That was supposed to Rodney screwed me over a little bit. That was supposed to happen the day before.
Oh,
It was supposed to happen the day before because I had pushed all of my things to happen. Sorry. The live stream was supposed to happen the day of the 15th, which was the day after.
yeah,
We
yeah.
started it in the morning on the 14th, like at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And because I was planning on doing the live stream all of my birthday, I front loaded all of my responsibilities to the day before until Rodney so graciously said, "Well, technically, we're the last time zone to go into the 15th."
Yeah, because when I got on to join the live stream, I think you were asleep, or no, I don't know where
Dude,
you went.
there was a lot of sleeping by me on my behalf.
Sleeping, or you went to go get something to eat or something. Because I was like, "Where's Ortiz at?"
Yeah, I will. So I was closing on my house.
Oh, that's right.
I went to go like say goodbye and lock things up and
That's right.
take care of that house because again, I knew on the 15th I was going to be doing a 24-hour live stream, so I planned everything for the 14th until Ronnie's like, "Well, we're doing this on the 14th," and I'm like, "Well, I've already pushed everything to the 14th, so I guess I'm going to be missing out like at least a third of the live stream."
So do you guys
So
got another one of those planned for
no,
this year?
I'm never doing one ever again.
Absolutely not. No way.
we we the Jira Life is a very collaborative effort, right? So it kind
Yeah.
of takes three to tango with that one. And YouTube has specific rules, and Nikki came in and saved us a little bit, but we didn't listen to good judgment here because the 24-hour YouTube has a rule. After X amount of hours, your live stream is basically nulled out.
What does that mean?
You don't get credit for it. It doesn't
Oh,
exist. It doesn't exist in the eyes of YouTube, right? I guess to avoid people just leaving their computers running for days on end, right? So the
counting that as
max,
like watch time or something, or
yeah. So the max that you can do a live stream for is to get credit is 12 hours.
okay.
So so we made a call, like it was the 12th hour mark, and I told the guys, I'm like, we should stop the live stream, start a new one.
Right.
Because Nikki had already come on to warn us and told us when they did that PM 72, they got no credit for the 3-day live stream that they did. Because there was one continuous 72-hour thing. And so Nikki's like, we didn't get credit. There's a rule. So I started looking it up. Luckily, she told us early in the day. And I was like, it's 12 hours of max. And so I told the guys, I'm like, we should stop it. And they're like, no, let's keep going. Because it would have required a new link.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, man, well, we should stop it. And so I got overruled on that one. And yeah, it could have worked out better for the Jira Life to get
Well,
some credit.
speaking of YouTube Sensei,
Yeah. So I hear so let's maybe fold this in, right? So Ed Gale's barbecue, that's a thing. Which one was your first love? Was it Atlassian or was it barbecue?
so Atlassian came before the going down the rabbit hole of barbecue, but they were very close together because I think 2010 is when I started power using Atlassian, and probably 2013 was when I started doing competitions in barbecue.
Okay.
And
So
so
when was the first time you smoked your first brisket? What age were you? 10, 12?
oh shoot, no, I was a late barbecuer. I always enjoyed cooking, but it was just, conventional cooking, Italian, whatever. And then I think I saw a show on something on barbecue, and I just liked the whole process of the fire and managing it, the whole time it takes, the technique and everything. Is like, I can figure that out.
That's a patience game, though.
Oh man, it is. I mean, there's certain tricks you can use, but depending on the situation, now that I know. But yeah, it's very much a patience and a process kind of
So
thing.
your love for barbecue itself started well before your Atlassian career, but your competitiveness
Yeah,
was closer together.
that's when things started snowballing into doing competitions, winning some awards, doing okay with that, having people want me to cook for them, and then that snowballs into teaching classes for folks, and then that snowballs into making my own sauces and rub and bottling it. And I think 4 years ago we kind of officially did the whole LLC incorporation. Okay, let's make this a significant side hustle kind of thing. And so so now I could technically write off some of these trips that I go on when I go to see barbecue and do the research.
Right.
But no, it's awesome. So now we do like a market or a pop-up like once a month, and then we do events for local schools and businesses. So it's all, no,
It's a big passion project
it is.
that you've somehow turned into pro level. I'm thinking of you as just a barbecue version of Tony Hawk.
I do have 7 smokers in the backyard. So
Oh, that's crazy. And so you got this company, you do these events, but now you're hoping to evolve your business a little bit.
a little bit. I love cooking for people. Like the biggest high I get is if I do an event or if I do a market and someone comes up or a kid comes up or someone comes up and is like, dude, that was the best barbecue I ever had. I could have been cooking straight for 2 days, been exhausted, wiped out, and someone says that, I'm like, let's go, let's
Let's
roll.
go. It's
I mean,
worth
that's
it.
the big, that's
So
the biggest high.
so what's this
Um,
new evolution that you're working into? Like, how do you grow the Ed Gale brand?
so I've got the cooking side down. Um, I want more of the stories that barbecue elicits. Like, if you go to a family gathering or a wedding reception, any kind of festival, there's always food. If
Quinceañeras?
you go to a Latino,
Quinceañeras,
um,
yeah.
party, there's gonna
Quinceañera.
be food. You're gonna have a tio and a tia be throwing food at you. Abuela is gonna be cooking in the kitchen. It's just central to who we are, and so I'm kind of fascinated with people's different interpretations of barbecue, such as the Southern California burgers and hot dogs.
I'm only half kidding. It's I would say that our barbecues, at least for a Hispanic family, would be
It's
more
different.
like
It's different. It's like a
it's more
carne
like carne
asada.
asada.
Yeah,
It's
it's
carne
that.
asada though.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna have it's like in Argentina, you'll have your parrilla with your asado kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be more of a grilling, not a slow smoking barbecue. So, when I say barbecue in that respect, it's like, what is barbecue to them? Like if you go to Australia, barbecue is going to be on a grill not a smoker. It's going to be on the grill. Same thing with Argentina. So it's their interpretation, but then also the stories of, how it brings people together, and then, makes people just feel good kind of thing. So I'm getting into where I want to start doing interviews with people, like other pitmasters or other restaurants, or like even where I get the guy who I get my wood from. He started this boutique firewood business from nothing, and now it's going nuts.
No, I mean it's crazy, right? Like I just got my house came with a grill, like one of those like in-house like islands out in the backyard. And I always had like a tiny little grill just to carne asada. You just throw it on a grill here, and burgers as well. So I never had a need for a smoker or anything like that. But my wife, when we were looking at the house, she's like, "We don't need this. Like, what's the point of this? We're never gonna use it." Because I had a little portable grill that we used like 4 times in like 6 years, right? And so I was like, "Hey, let's get the house and we'll use it at least once a week." And so I got a Blackstone as well for like the grill style. And she's like, "You better use that thing, or I'm gonna like cook you on it."
I need breakfast tacos in the morning. I'm gonna need some kind of,
So we use it. Like, so now I've spent so much more time outdoors, and it's worked out really well due to like the inflation. Like even in just a burger is like what, $15 for a Big Mac nowadays.
It's so crazy.
So we're just getting into the habit of like cooking, and so we're enjoying it quite a bit. We're enjoying this this family activity where we get out there, we turn on one of the two, but now somebody over here gives me some rub. And I'm just like, how the heck do I use this now? And so this is opening in a whole new world for me, which I'm like, I don't even know where to start, what to do, how to do it. All I know is there's a business center with meats in it, and I'm also in Dairyland, California.
Okay.
So cows galore here. And so we've been driving around the farms out here, and like there's like you just pick your cow and they'll chop it up right there for you.
That's the most
And your hogs too. So it's like, so I'm like, how do I get into this very expensive hobby without knowing like which, I don't even know what the cuts are yet or what I'm looking for. All I know is that it's expensive to go organic.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's crazy. So I was out with one of the travels out in San Francisco. And so we went to a Costco out there just because I like to go see, you told me about the business center, but I went to go see what kind of, meats they have out there. And you guys out in California have Wagyu brisket, like in Costco. I can only get like choice, and I'm like banging my head because I want at least prime. But you guys got like case of Wagyu, and I'm like, oh my God, I would be in heaven out here.
Yeah, my goal is to start at the beginning of the freezer section, because the Costco Business Center is just, in case you guys don't know, it's drastically different than your typical Costco, right? They carry like the whole freezer section is enormous. Like you got to go in with the jacket because you're going to be in there for a few minutes. It's not like you go in, grab some eggs and milk and come back out. Like this is it's an experience going into their freezer section. So my goal is to like start on one tip and just kind of like buy one of each. But then I'm like, how do I cook this? And like, what do I do with it? And like, I've been trying to marinate my own carne asada. It's still coming along.
It's still work in progress.
This is still, yeah, like because it's like $3 cheaper to get it unmarinated, right?
Yes.
And you get a lot more. You get a lot more meat because my understanding is when you buy it marinated, it's already infused with the liquids and stuff, so you're buying the weight of the juice.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Right. So I get a lot more unmarinated. So
yes,
they sell all the marinating stuff like right behind you. Like you're ordering and all the stuff to marinate is right behind. And so some guy was like, just get this bottle, sprinkle some cilantro and green onions and let it soak overnight and you're good to go. I think I was a little too stingy on the liquid. It wasn't juicy enough.
That's the beauty of it, man. It's barbecue and grilling. It's all trial and error, man. You can watch as many YouTube channels or videos as you want, but until you get out there and try it and experiment. So that's where my YouTube. So to me, you are like Mark Cruz of YouTube. it seems to come very natural to you, very easy,
Right.
and I'm just, I'm trying to figure out what I need to do, and I make it, I think, a little more complicated than it needs to be, but
I watched this YouTuber. They're called Think Media, and their
oh
whole
yeah,
premise. I don't know if you've probably heard of them, right?
yeah, yeah,
But their slogan is just like you just gotta hit record.
yeah,
At the end of the day, that's all YouTube comes down to, just literally hitting record. Somebody somewhere out there will not watch your first video, but the consistency of putting 20, 30, 40 videos, it's a slow burn, but I mean, you of all people would have patience for a slow burn,
yeah, 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 yeah,
right? But 3 months into it, like as long as you consistently put 1 to 2 videos every single week, eventually you'll pop something off. And you can accelerate that fire by simply like folding in like shorts and TikToks and stuff like that and sending them over to your YouTube. I think today there's that capability to grow is significantly there. But the one call you'll have to make is which kind of YouTube presence do you want, right? Because there's like this channel is just give, give, give,
yep,
right? I don't receive anything from this channel in the sense of fulfillment because I don't know who the heck's watching these videos. But in the Jira life, you'll notice that we know every single person,
yep,
right? And that's a much more community-driven type of engagement with the Jira life. So still both YouTube, but drastically different execution strategies with what we
yeah.
do.
So I guess this is where I'm overthinking something. So I have a newsletter already that, is kind of where I give my musings on barbecue from St. Louis to recipes to whatever. And so I wanted to start incorporating, I guess, more video and maybe actually like I guess how they do it. It's like a podcast, but you video it, and then you can break it up into different sections, and then have that content be multi-purposed across different
Mediums, yeah.
media. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think where I was trying to look at going towards that way, because eventually I used to teach in-person classes, and then COVID kind of destroyed that for a while. So I'm trying to look at online teaching classes kind of thing, like brisket 101 or barbecue
Yeah.
101, grilling 101, chicken, kind of thing. So
But I think that would be so good, right? Because like the whole reason I'm telling you my stories here is because like I want to get into this, but I don't even know where to start. And you already have the benefit of having like a base recognition, right? Like people already
yeah,
know who you are. You've already done a lot for the community and within your barbecue community. So it would be very natural for people to say like, oh, here's Ed. And that's just showing us a one-on-one, right? Because like, for example, we went and bought 5 pounds of carne asada, right? And we divided each piece, and one piece got your coffee rub,
okay,
just with the rub, because we were like, well, what the heck's rub for? So we're like, let's stick it on the meat and see what happens. The other one had the Ed Gale's one,
yep,
right? And then on another one we put orange juice because you're supposed to put orange juice on your carne asada with along with this liquid that they sell. Then another one we put Sunny Delight in the liquid,
okay,
right? And then another one we just put like salt, pepper, or the other one garlic,
garlic, yeah,
right?
yeah, so, yeah,
Yeah. So we like when we labeled them all and we sharpied the baggies and we let them marinate over like a 24-hour period, and then we went and cooked them all, and then we like taste tested them all. But this was us just trying to learn how to take this raw meat and not pay the extra prices for somebody to marinate it for us.
yeah,
To also find the flavor that we like.
yep,
So, but yeah, something like that with like a guide, right? Because I just the starting point is always the hardest.
yes,
But at the end of the day, my
yeah,
biggest
because
recommendation to Ed,
it's like I got my phone, I got this crazy guy. I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this guy. I'm like, what do I do? How do I set it up? And
well, that's what I was going to tell you. So your next first logical step, right now that I think you've been working on the name, is okay. So who is your target? Like, what is the persona that you want to build this video for, right? Because if you're going to do the interviews, that is a whole different ballpark
yep,
than doing the teachings, right? Because it's just so different audiences. Because people are going to watch if people are gonna watch it from a teaching perspective, it's gonna be people like me that are noobs in the barbecue scene that want to know how to prep the meat and how to cook it and like end to end from A through Z.
Yep.
Versus in the interviews of traveling, right? Are you looking at it from a cultural perspective? Are you looking at it from like a pitmaster's perspective? Are you looking at it from like what techniques that pitmasters have? Are you looking at for like right? Like there's a lot of different variations that you could do even within an interview series of like what exactly are you trying to do, right?
Yeah.
It's
So
so much
I think,
different. It'd be such a different group of people because these people are going to be seasoned pit masters
yeah.
or at least people that know how to barbecue already, and they're just trying to elevate their game because
Yeah.
they already have a game versus these people have zero game and
They're
they're trying
just
to figure out their footing
established their
period.
game.
And you
Yeah.
can't do both. You won't be able to do both successfully, at least not at the beginning, at least not year one. Because year one, you got to focus on just one of those two markets or a third of you
And get consistent at it.
and get consistent at it. So the recommendation, if you're gonna do the passport or if you're gonna do the traveling one, right, you go and record like 5 of them, 5 or 6, so that you have a queue, and then drop 5 weeks worth of videos. Right? You wouldn't want to like drop one today, then wait a month to go see the next one.
No, yeah. I
So
think I'm learning that you need to have your content, at least what do they call it? A content calendar that you map
yeah.
out. Hey, I need.
But not only that, but yours is gonna be a little harder because you got a content calendar plus get there.
I mean, is this the Jira Life? You guys got a content calendar that you got mapped out pretty much?
Yeah, so that's what we do, right? So I don't know if you saw around January timeframe, I put out a post that's like, "Hey, we're looking for guests on the Jira Life.
Oh
Who's
yeah,
on?"
yeah.
And that's when I gave dates to everybody, right? And I was updating that field. So like every date of the Jira Life has a guest, right? What we talk about gets refined week to week,
Yep.
but we know everybody until the end of July right now.
Cool.
And we're about to open up the rest of 2024. But yeah, we come in with the game plan already. Versus at the beginning, though, it wasn't like that. At the beginning was just like Ronnie and I were like, "Hey, we're just gonna jump on and kind of do this, just like a quick little, what's up?"
Yeah.
Which wasn't as interesting, right? So it got more interesting as we started bringing guests in.
No, I love that you guys have all these guests from app vendors, service providers, Atlassians. I mean, you guys cover pretty much the whole spectrum of pulling people in.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's very rewarding. We get to learn a lot from the different people, and it's more fun than this, right? Because I play off of Ronnie, and Ronnie plays off of me, which adds to the dynamic. Versus me here just interviewing you.
Yep.
It's just whatever the heck I come up with. But I don't know. I enjoy the Jira Life and everything that's there, especially the community aspect of it. I was just talking to Stu from
Oh, yeah.
Revise
Yeah.
recently, and I don't know if you caught it, but In and Out is like a thing. It's like a trending theme on the Jira Life, right?
The In and Out, is it overrated, underrated?
Yeah. So we have this constant debate of In and Out, and Ray Foote, who I'm sure you know Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a Cali girl originally, right? Now she lives in New York, but she's
Yeah.
originally a Cali girl. So she's like, I love In and Out, right? But then we went on a side tangent, and I ended up buying In and Out the day of the 24-hour live stream. And then we got to this point where we were talking about Red Robin, right? And apparently Red Robin has like bottomless fries or something like that.
Bottomless fries, baby.
Yeah, I never been to Red Robin, right? But so we talked, it was just a very specific Red Robin discussion. We're like, oh, at Team 24, let's all like meet up at Red Robin. And I was like, it's gonna be hard to go anywhere at Team 24 because the schedules are so tight.
Yeah.
Right. But there was an intent. But Stu, who was on part of this conversation, made it to California the week before Team. Ran to the local Red Robin and took a picture and sent it to Ray. Right. And this was a connection that happened because of a conversation that was happening in the chat on the Jira Life. Right. But that's not the magical part. The magical part was what happened next, which was Ray posts that picture of Stu at Red Robin, highlighting the significance and the importance of what Red Robin represents to Ray as a human. Every single birthday being celebrated with her parents there.
Yeah, and Red Robin.
Just, right. And so Red Robin is this very, very special, magical place that means it's so profound for Ray. And for someone from the Atlassian community to like go out of their way to go to a Red Robin, to take a picture, to send it to her, to say like, hey, look, I made it. Right? It was such a special moment for Ray. Like I was in tears because like you don't have those sense of communities or sense of engagements when you're even doing your partner calls, right? Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't happen naturally. So that's my favorite thing about the Jira life, is that we can get to create these environments of like the taco's not a sandwich, right? So like we're developing two camps of people that love tacos, people that think tacos are sandwiches for some dumb reason, right? And it's these things like when we do get together, right? It creates such a bigger, tighter bond that again, I don't see it anywhere else in any other ecosystem.
I agree. I totally, like I said before, I have never seen a community that is as supportive of one another. Like even us as, competitors, app vendor competitors, we still help each other out, or service providers. We're all just in it. We're making the pie bigger, but we're doing it helping each other. So that is just such a great thing about this community.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a special one. One that I'm glad that I stumbled on. I think I accidentally came into Jira.
Speaking of, what is the Alex Ortiz origination story of Atlassian?
Of Atlassian. In 2013, I was on a rotation program at the Boeing company, and it was 3-year, 1-year rotations. So 3 times that I was gonna have to change teams. And an email had gone out saying you need to go and like apply for your next rotation, and you have to use this tool. It was not Jira, right? But I went and put my preferences. I wanted to be a project manager, and weeks really passed, and like every one of my peers, they all got placed into their next rotation, except for me. And an email had gone out around the same time when they're like, go use this tool. And they're like, it went out to all the managers saying like, if they come up to you to ask you about their rotations, like ignore them, like don't condone bad behavior. They have to use the tool. Don't talk to them about it. So me being a good boy was just like, okay, I'm just gonna let the chips fall where they fall, right? But once everybody got placed except for me, I went to go talk to that manager, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, oh yeah, I got laid off. I don't care about. He's like, I don't care about the rotations anymore. We're probably just gonna cancel it. I was like, what? So I had to pick what was left, which was this team that nobody wanted apparently, right? And so I called the manager, that other manager, because that was the only team that was left. Because at that point, everybody has gotten placed except for me. And so I called the other manager, and I'm like, hey, you guys still looking? Because I'm like the last one at this point. And he's like, yeah, come on over. And then I gave him my resume and stuff. He's like, oh, you went to USC, and I'm like, my son goes to USC. So I bonded real well with the manager. He brought me over, and yeah, so I went to his rotation, and I worked on a project with them for 3 months. I was using Red Hat Enterprise Linux.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was coding. I was a developer, and for the whole summer we're working on this project. And at the end of the summer, we pushed it to production, and it didn't work. Didn't work. And the whole summer I'm complaining to my lead that it's not going to work because we were missing something. And my lead's like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Well, we get to the bridge, and we try to cross, and the bridge is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
So I pull a 36-hour all-nighter just fixing everything. And it was over Labor Day weekend. It was 100 and something degrees in my house. We don't have air conditioning or anything because these houses are from the 1950s. And it doesn't get hot in California except for like 1 week. And that was that one hell week that it decided to get hot on. Right? So I do this 36-hour thing. I completely deliver the whole thing. And we got the project out on time, still during the outage, because I didn't sleep for 3 days. And so my manager was like super proud, and I was like, you know what, I'm like done for the week, so I'll catch you guys next week, because at this point I worked all my hours for the week. And so Tuesday rolls around after Labor Day, and he's like, we forgot that there's another project we need your input on. So he's like, can you come into the office? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go. And I get there, they brief me on the project, and they're like, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I can take care of it. They're like, you got 2 weeks. I'm like, cool, we have plenty of time. My senior manager, the one that kind of screwed me over the whole time, she puts the phone on mute. She's like, it took me and 3 other level 5 engineers a month to finish what you just committed to doing by yourself in 2 weeks. And I'm like, I can get it done.
I got it, man.
So I got it done by Friday. I didn't even think of 2 weeks. I got it done by Friday. This was Tuesday, right? So I got it done by Friday. And my manager at this point was like, holy moly, you're 2 for 2 here. Like, how in the world did you do? Like, because he was there when it took the 4 level 5 engineers a month to do it, right? And I got it all done. And so he was like impressed at this point, right? And this was Labor Day. So in October, Boeing announced that they were going to fire everybody from California and Seattle and move everybody to St. Louis or Charleston, South Carolina, which is why the 737s fall out of the sky, but neither here nor there. And I told my boss, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to move, so I'm just going to quit. Right? I'm like, I'm just going to quit because I'm born and raised in Southern California. I'm not ready to move to St. Louis or Charleston.
Oh, so that's how you got to the Lou?
Yeah, so I got to the Lou, but Boeing also was paying for my master's at USC. So I'm like, I'd rather quit now and just pay the $5,000 back than the $50,000 I'm going to owe later. Right? So as I walk out of his cube, he's like, what if I moved you to St. Louis? And I'm like, I just told you I don't want to be in charge of St. Louis, or I don't want to go to St. Louis. And he's like, yeah, but, and keep in mind, I graduated from college, and at this point, I'm 15 months postgraduate from college. And he's like, yeah, but what if I put you in charge of Visual Studio and Team Foundation Server for the Boeing company?
Yeah.
And I'm like, keep talking. So he's like,
talk to me.
I'm like, yeah, keep talking. So I'm like, the guy in Seattle who's in charge of it, he's being impacted like everybody else. So he quit and went to Microsoft. Right. And he's like, I need somebody to run this thing for all Boeing. And so I was like, let me think about it. I asked my wife, I asked my family. They're like, do whatever you want. I quickly learned that does not mean do whatever you want. And so I took it. And so they gave me the keys to Team Foundation Server and Visual Studio, the software development, 24 years old, 15, 16 months out of college. And I went from a level 1 to a level 3 engineer at Boeing in a day.
That's what
and so that got me to St. Louis. And then I was doing the TFS. I was doing the DevOps thing. And then one day came that I had a baby, or we were going to have a baby, and I needed to get back to California. And so I was going to quit Boeing because at that point I was clear and free of the Boeing, they paid for my master's thing. And Northrop came knocking. And when they hired me because of my DevOps / Team Foundation Server experience to run Jira for Northrop.
Okay.
And so that brought me into Jira. So that's how I got into Atlassian.
Okay.
But all because of those 2 nighters.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. See, I love those stories too. Like, how did you stumble into Atlassian? Yeah, kind of thing.
Cool. Well, I know we're out of time, so
already, man. That was awesome.
It was a lot of fun. So thanks you very much, Mr. Ed. I look forward to seeing you. If you do come over here, please bring some bottles of barbecue sauce.
Absolutely.
I've already finished all the ones I bought from you, and I need to order more.
You got it, man.
So thank you very much again, Ed, for being here, and we'll hopefully see you on the road.
We'll see you, man. Love it. Thank you, man.